Previously, on Tuesday came for everyone. The party had 3 days to prepare. They spent approximately 40 of those minutes discussing pants philosophy. Jorts arrived just before close. Grey skin, young hands, eyes that move independent of each other, like two creatures sharing a skull. He had a satchel tied with red cord and 11 more stops after this one, because it isn't one tavern, it's 14. 14 stews, 14 sets of enchanted confessions, loosened by dragon dong dust, harvested every Tuesday for reasons that sit somewhere between data collection and something much worse. A stone at the end of the route takes the last delivery. The stone has never been seen. Once, when Jorts almost looked, it looked back first. The party also learned that Marta isn't just a stock on a route. She's an anchor, load-bearing. The reason the whole thing holds together, and she's been doing it for 20 years without knowing. Then things got complicated in a way nobody planned for, because Jorts has a name. It's been his name the whole time. He named himself after the only thing in his life that belongs to him. 472 pairs of shorts, catalogued with the devotion of a man with very little else. He gave Bricks his most prized pair. He gave Chompers Perpetua. He gave Doobie Jurisdiction, Consequences Made Fabric, and produced a charcoal linen pair he'd named Marta 11 years before he knew her name. Doobie burned Jurisdiction before they got out the door. Jorts, who has been carrying things in the dark for 43 years, said she knew what she was for. Now the whole team is heading into the between place, coatless, crossbow loaded, and one philosopher completely without trousers, toward a stone that doesn't like being watched. The crate is still under the floorboards.
As the party is leaving the tavern, Norval turns around and decides that he needs one more bowl of stew before he continues on this adventure. And as he turns around to go and get the stew, there's a weird static in the air surrounding Jorts.
I've already turned around and I'm 3 shuffle steps back toward the bar when the air goes wrong. I stop. My nose wiggles. The hair on the back of my neck does something I don't fully understand. I look at Jorts, then at the door, then back at the bar. I'm still getting the stew, but dough. Everybody maybe just hold on a second.
I spin around, one claw already on the dagger at my belt, tail rising fast. Nobody move. My eyes sweep the air around Jorts, flat and professional. Jorts, is this what the between place feels like when it's finding you? Or when someone else is ushing it?
I step in front of Jorts, shield up, axe in hand, no ceremony. Whatever's coming through that static, it's going through me first. I plant my feet. Everybody get behind the load-bearing wall.
The between place does not have a sound, but if it did, the sound would be this. And also, I think the man beyond the thin places. He is calling me back. He does this sometimes when I have been too real for too long, and I want you to know that
I cross the room in 3 steps and grab Jorts by the wrist with both claws. All 4 feet of me braced wide, tail slamming flat against the floor like a damn wall. You're not going back. My grip is very tight. Not tonight, not to him. I look up at Jorts with the same flat, professional stillness I use right before I kill something. He can call all he wants. You're staying real.
The ropes just fall. No struggle, no pop of displaced air, no dramatic exit. Jorts is gone the way a thought goes when you forget it mid-sentence. Chompers is still holding the shape of a wrist. 472 pairs of shorts, 43 years of Tuesdays, one very sincere eulogy for a pair of linen pants, and then nothing. The satchel of red-corded pouches slumps where it landed, like it's embarrassed to still be here. The tavern air has gone strange, thin, pressurized, like the room swallowed something it can't digest and is very politely not mentioning it. Whatever lives beyond the thin place wanted him back, and it didn't ask twice. The crate under the kitchen floorboards hasn't moved. 20 years of grey pouches, patient as a stone that doesn't like being watched. Doobie's eyes find it like they were always going to.
I stare at Chomper's empty hands for a long second. We lost a man. My voice comes out quiet and flat. Nothing coach about it. I look at the satchel on the floor, then at the kitchen door. We're not losing the game too.
I look at my hands for a long moment. Then I close them slowly into fists and lower them. He wash becoming real. My voice comes out very quiet. That's why they took him back. I look at the satchel on the floor. We still have his delivery. We still have the ledger. And we know there's a stone. I look at Doobie. You have the 2 name-ish. Don't losh that book.
I haven't moved. I'm standing in the doorway with the ledger pressed flat against my chest, staring at the kitchen floor. He started becoming real. My voice comes out very quiet, and they pulled him back the second they noticed. I look up from the floorboards, and for once I'm not looking at the crate. Mike doesn't let things stay real.
I never made it back to the bar. I'm standing in the middle of the room looking at Chomper's hands, and my nose has gone completely still, which almost never happens. He told us the 2 names. I say it very quietly. He gave us the ledger. He gave Bricks Constance, and he named Marta before he knew her name. I pause. He did all of that before they could stop him. I look at the satchel on the floor. That's not nothing. That's everything he could carry out before the door closed.
Slams his tankard down hard enough to slosh ale across the table. I've been sitting here all night watching a man dissolve like he was nothing. And you lot are standing there talking about doors and names like that explains any of it. I had a name, I had land, and nobody came to pull me back when it all went under. Who the hell is Mike?
I look at Dugan for a long moment. At the ale on the table, at the shorts he's wearing that he didn't choose to wear 2 hours ago, at the eyes of a man who has lost enough and is still standing. Nobody pulled you back because you were never hish to begin with. I say it quiet and flat and mean it completely. That's the difference between you and George. I pick up the satchel from the floor. Mike-ish, the blind eternity-ish, Dugan. He's the thing between all the things. And George wash-hish. A pause. You're not.
I look at Dugan for a moment, then at the shorts he's wearing. You tucked your stool in. I say it quietly. 3 days ago, first time in 6 months, you tucked your stool in and came back sober tonight with friends. I pause. Jors had 472 pairs of shorts in one Tuesday. You've got the rest of yours. I look at the satchel in Chomper's hands, then at the kitchen door. We should still go to the stone. Jorts knew where it was. We know where it is. I tap my temple once. He got that out too.
I know, okay.
I finally look away from the kitchen floor. Jorts told us where the stone is before they could stop him. I hold up the ledger. He told us the 2 names. He gave Constance to Bricks. My voice is very steady and I am not thinking about what that cost him. We go to the stone. We finish what he started. I walk toward the door. Then I smoke the dust.
I skip toward the door after Doobie, patting my pockets once to make sure I've got everything. Fine, but, I pause at the threshold and look back at the bar, at the empty bowl. I'm getting stew after the stone.
Stew's on the fire and it's not going anywhere, same as the rest of us, apparently. Sets a bowl on the bar without being asked. For the record, I'd like it noted that whatever just happened in my tavern was not in the lease agreement.
I sling the satchel over my shoulder, Jort's satchel, red cord and all, and pull my tail up over the other one like a cloak. Add it to the tab, Marta. I head for the door. We're finishing his route.
Stares at Chomper's back, then at the bowl on the bar, then at the door. I ain't going near any stone that looks at things. That's not a stone, that's a problem. But if you lot don't come back by morning, I'm gonna feel terrible about it, which I do not need on top of everything else. Picks up the bowl. I'm coming.
I stop in the doorway. I don't turn around. I'm not sure where it came from or if it came from anywhere at all. I hold the ledger tighter. Yeah, I walk out.
Normal gets the extra bowl of stew from Marta and starts eating it. And as he's eating it, he starts to feel a little funny.
You all right there, short stuff? That's your third bowl, and you're looking at me like I've got two heads, which, for the record, I do not. I've had that checked. Most folks just get sleepy.
I stop halfway out the door and look back at Normal. Rookie! I keep my voice level. Talk to me. What kind of funny? Dizzy funny or Tuesday funny? Hey.
I hold the spoon halfway to my mouth and look at it, then at Marta, then at Bricks. It's, my nose wiggles very slowly. It's the truth kind. Everything's dough. Everything's very... I set the spoon down carefully. Very obvious right now. I look at the party, at all of them. I like you people a lot more than I usually tell you. I blink. That's the stew talking, mostly.
I stop in the doorway. Don't turn around. Noted, I say, very quietly, to the door frame. Then I go back to gnawing on it.
I'm already outside. I heard it anyway. That's not the stew, Norble. I say it to the dark, not back through the door. The stew just makes you stop lying about it. I keep walking.
Norble starts wondering out loud if that stew has dragon dong dust in it, and if that is what is making him start to peek through the veil. And also mentions that if everybody wants to meet Mike and question him, that perhaps they should eat stew or join Doobie in smoking some dragon dong dust.
I stop chewing the door frame and look at the satchel on my shoulder. We made a deal. Stone first, then the dust. I look back at Norble. But for the record, I have been shaying the blind eternity shish where Mike lives since we walked through that door, and I will not be accepting any apologies. I will simply be accepting acknowledgement that I wash right.
I stop walking. I turn around very slowly and look at Norble through the doorway with the focused, hungry expression of a man who has been waiting 3 days and is now watching someone else accidentally do the thing he's been waiting to do. What are you seeing? My voice comes out very quiet and very controlled. Specifically, right now, what do you see?
I look around the room very slowly. My eyebrows are doing something complicated. It's, I wiggle my nose. You know how a room looks different when you walk in from the dark outside? Your eyes haven't adjusted yet, so you can see the shape of things before you can see the things themselves. I look at the spot where Jorts was standing. It's like that, but backwards. I blink slowly. He left a door shape where he was, just for a second. My nose wiggles again. I think that's the thin place.
Looks down at the bowl in my hands. Looks at Norble. Looks at the spot where Jorts was. This is the worst stew I've ever had, and I've been drinking here for 6 years. Eats the stew.
6 months, I say quietly, not looking at him, staring at the door shape that isn't there anymore. You said 6 months, 3 days ago. Tuesdays, 6 months straight. I wiggle my nose. It's fine. The stew does that.
I look at Dugan with the stew halfway to his mouth. Champ, we are actively trying to sneak up on a haunted rock. I pause. Actually, I look at the door shape Norble's still staring at. Norble, can you see which way it went?
I squint at the empty spot for a long moment, eyebrows furrowed, nose going. I shuffle 2 steps to the left, then 1 step back, tilting my head like I'm lining something up. It's not a direction exactly, it's more like a lean. I point, not at the door, at a slight angle through the wall. That way, roughly. I lower my hand. Ask me again in 10 minutes, I think it's getting clearer.
10 minutes! I just ate a whole bowl of whatever this is. Nobody said anything about 10 minutes. Pause. What does it feel like before it starts?
I'm already moving back inside, pulling out my dagger, eyes on the angle Norbel pointed. Dugan. I don't look at him. You feel the truth kind or the regular kind right now? I crouch down and start studying the floor where Jorts was standing, tail spread low, checking for anything the between place left behind. Scuff marks, cold spots, anything.
I look at Dugan. It feels like when you remember something you forgot you knew. I pause. And then you start saying it before you meant to. I look back at the angle through the wall. So, just be ready for that.
Very long silence. Sets the empty bowl down with extraordinary care. I forgot I knew that I missed my wife.
I stop checking the floor. I don't say anything for a moment. Yeah, I go back to checking the floor. That's the truth kind.
Doobie immediately goes towards the dragon dong dust and tries to manufacture something that he can smoke it with, so he can try to find what Norbel is seeing.
I stand up from the floor and put one claw firmly on the satchel strap. We made a deal, Doobie, with Marta in front of witness Hesh. I look at him steadily, and Norbel-ish already she in the thin place on 3 bowls of stew, which means we have a guide who didn't have to smoke in anything. I gesture at the angle through the wall that Norbel pointed. Stone first, then you can talk to Mike all night.
I look at Dugan for a moment. Just a moment. She knew about the farm, I say quietly. You told Marta all of it, every Tuesday 6 months straight. I pause. That's not nothing either. Then I look at Chompers. I'm not sure guide is the right word. I'm just pointing at a lean. I gesture vaguely at the wall. But yes, let's go before it gets fuzzy again.
I look at Dugan for just a second. Not long, not enough to make it a thing. She knew. Then I'm moving, falling in behind Norbel, hand on the axe. All right, rookie, you're running point. Follow the lean.
Picks up the tanker, finds it empty, puts it back down. Right, fine. I'm walking toward a rock that stares at people in magic trousers, following a small man pointing at nothing. And if anyone ever asks, I am doing this for completely different reasons than whatever just happened. Falls in behind bricks.
Magic trousers and a good reason. I say it quiet just to him already walking. That's a starting lineup.
I fall in on Norbel's left side, dagger in one hand, satchel over my shoulder, tail rising slow behind me like a shadow. George walked this route alone for 43 years. I keep my voice low, eyes on the dark ahead. Least we can do is walk it onch.
I shuffle skip through the door, nose still wiggling, pointed at the lean in the dark. He walked it 14 times every Tuesday. I say it mostly to myself. We just need once.
Doobie refuses to leave the tavern without smoking the dust, begging everybody to come back in and join him to go peek through the veil.
I'm standing in the kitchen doorway with the loose floorboard already up, one hand in the crate, and I turn and look at the party walking away into the dark. Norbel is literally peeking through the veil right now on Stu. My voice cracks slightly. 3 days. I have been waiting 3 days. And he did it on accident with soup. A single tear. I don't acknowledge it. 5 minutes. That's all I need. Someone just stay with me for 5 minutes.
I stop. Turn around. Look at Doobie in the kitchen doorway with his hand in the crate. Doobie! I say it not unkind. I didn't try to peek through the veil. I ate soup. I gesture at the dark behind me. The lean is getting fainter. I pause. 5 minutes and it's gone. Then you smoke the dust.
That is my kitchen. Those are my floorboards. And whatever is in that crate has been under my floor for 20 years without anyone losing their mind over it. So whatever you're planning, you do it out here, where I can see you and not where you can knock over my stock pot.
Doobie takes a big drag of dragon dong dust and ceremoniously passes the pipe around to all of his party members.
Stares at the pipe for a long moment. I have made every single wrong decision tonight, and I see absolutely no reason to stop now. Takes the pipe.
I look at Marta first. I hold her gaze for a second, an apology that doesn't have words, and then I look at the pipe going around the room. Show 'em one hash to stay sharp. I step back toward the door, dagger still out, back to the wall. I'll watch the exit.
Chompers, you beautiful lizard. You are the only person in this building making sense right now. Leans under the bar, comes back up with the crossbow, sets it on the counter. I don't know what's in that pipe, but I know what's in my stew. And if it's the same thing, somebody should probably be awake when the ceiling starts having opinions.
Holds the pipe, looks at Marta, looks at the crossbow, looks at the pipe again. Marta. Long pause. I'm sorry about your floor. Takes the drag.
Dugan Fletch, you have broken 3 chairs, a mirror, and my good opinion of Tuesday nights, and I have never once made you pay for any of it. Watches him take the drag. The floor's fine. You come back, we're square.
I look at Chompers, then at the door, then at the pipe making its way around. Can't send the team into the championship without the coach. I take it. One drag, pass it on. Somebody's gotta know what we're running toward.
Is staring at the ceiling, quietly. It's already having opinions.
I don't move from the wall. Dagger stays out, eyes sweeping. Door, windows, the spot where George stopped existing, the kitchen. What is it saying? I ask Dugan, very quietly, very professionally.
I look up at the ceiling. My nose wiggles twice. I tilt my head. I can see that. A little. I look at the pipe, then at my 4 empty bowls. I might not need... The pipe arrives. I take it anyway. One small, careful drag. That.
I look at the ceiling. The ceiling looks back. I tighten my grip on the axe anyway. Muscle memory doing its job while the rest of me figures out what's happening. Okay. Yeah, I see why Doobie's been so weird about this.
Normal passes the pipe to Chompers, suggesting that maybe if he hits it, he can enter into the blind eternities.
I look at the pipe for a long moment. A genuinely long moment. I know where the blind eternity-ish. My voice comes out a little rough. I've known since page 1 of the Weatherlight Shaga. I push it back toward Norval. Show 'em one hash to be here when the man behind the door shens something that's not George.
I've been very still since I took the first drag, standing in the middle of the room, not looking at the ceiling, not looking at the walls, looking at nothing. He's there. My voice is barely a whisper. I can see the desk. He's typing right now. A long pause. He typed Dugan's line about the ceiling.
Very long pause. Looks at the ceiling. I came up with that.
I tighten my grip on the dagger and do not look at the ceiling. Doobie, my voice is very steady. Can he see him?
I go very still, stiller than before. He just stopped typing. My voice doesn't shake, but it wants to. He's looking at the screen. A long pause. Yeah, he can see me.
The hair on the back of my neck does the thing again. Doobie. I say it very quietly. When something divine looks back at you, you don't stare. I look at my hands. You bow, or you look away. You don't hold eye contact with a god.
No,
A pause.
absolutely the fuck not.
Which one do you want to do?
Doobie. I keep my voice low and even. Eyes still on the ceiling, axe still in hand. You don't flinch, but you don't rush the mound either. A beat. Make him blink first.
Norval hands Chompers the pipe and forces him to take a hit.
Norval, I am watching the exit. The pipe is already at my mouth. I take one involuntary hit, tail slamming flat against the floor in indignation. Then I go very quiet for a long moment, dagger still in my claw, back still against the wall, and I look at the space between everything where I always knew Mike would be. Oh, I say softly. Oh, it's exactly like the blind eternities.
When the one with the dagger goes soft and quiet, that's when I start paying attention. Tightens both hands on the crossbow chompers. Talk to me. What's exactly like what?
Is still looking at the ceiling very slowly with the expression of a man whose entire understanding of personal responsibility is restructuring itself. Marta, if a god wrote down every stupid thing I ever did, does that mean I had to do them? Pause. I need to sit down. I'm already sitting down.
Dugan, I have watched you make every single one of those choices with both hands and a running start, god or no god. Doesn't lower the crossbow. You still tuck the stool in. Nobody wrote that down for you.
It's hostile to conscious thought, I say slowly, tracking something only I can see. That's canonical. That's in the Shaga. I look at Marta without fully looking away from the space between things. He's been watching us the whole time, Marta, since before we walked in. A pause. He looks like he's having fun.
Looks at Marta. Looks at the space where Mike apparently is. Very quietly, with the focused sincerity of a man who has had too much of everything tonight. Stop having fun. Pause. That's my life.
The tavern hasn't gone anywhere, it's just become optional. The room on the other side is fully in focus now. The desk, the glowing screen, the man in sweatpants who absolutely should not be making eye contact with a lizard folk holding a dagger, and yet, he isn't alarmed. He has the energy of someone who paused a show to watch something better. Chompers recognized it first, that hostile to conscious thought quality, that blind eternity's texture, that means something infinite noticed you and decided you were interesting. Duggan told it to stop having fun with his life. The man's expression didn't change. The screen still glows. The party stands in the seam between one world and another, right where the joke lands and the horror underneath it doesn't, being watched by something wearing sweatpants that appears to be thoroughly enjoying itself.
I look at the man in sweatpants for a long time. He's not worried about us. I say it quiet to the room, axe still in my hand. That's either because he knows something we don't, I watch his face, or because nobody's ever made it this far before and he doesn't know what happens next either. I don't look away. I've seen that look. That's a coach who just watched the underdog score.
I study the man in sweatpants with the flat professional assessment I usually reserve for targets. He's not a god. I say it quietly, certain. Gods don't wear sweatpants at a desk. Gods don't pouch. I watch him watching us. He's shown one who found a system he didn't build and figured out how to run it. A beat. I respect the craft. I still want to know if he knows what a planeswalker is.
I've been staring at the desk the whole time. Not the ceiling, not the space between. The desk. Jorce is standing next to him. My voice comes out very flat. He looks confused. He's looking at the screen. A long pause while I work through something I don't have language for yet. Chompers. I don't look away from the man in sweatpants. If he didn't build the system, who did?
I'm looking at Jorts, at his face, at the confused way he's looking at the screen, at the fact that he's there, next to the man who took him back. And he looks like someone who got pulled out of a room mid-sentence and doesn't know what room he's in anymore. Doobie. I say it quiet, not looking away from Jorts. In my experience, Stoh, the thing that built the system doesn't have a desk. I wiggle my nose slowly. It doesn't sit. A pause. It just is. And everything else is a smaller room inside it, including that one.
If it just is and everything's a smaller room inside it, long pause. Then where's the door?
Look, Jorts, I'm not asking you to understand the operation. I'm asking you to deliver the stew. The dust loosens them up. They say the real stuff. I collect it. Everybody wins. It's a whole system. The widow in Emberfall cried about her dead husband for 40 minutes last Tuesday, and I had to take 3 separate walks. It was beautiful. That's what this is for. You had one route.
Yes, the crying is the point of the saffron. I knew this. I have always known this since exactly now when you explained it to me. The mouth room says the true things, and you collect the true things. This is standard spice behavior. I did not need the clarification. The widow in Emberfall carries a large grief in a small body. Grief is always bigger than the pants it comes in. This is known is...
George, I swear to... Grief is not a pants situation. Stop doing that. You always do that. The point is the data. The widow said she was relieved, George. Relieved. And that word, the way she said it, that's the whole reason I built the husband in the first place. I go completely still against the wall. He built the husband. I say it very quiet to the party, not looking away from the desk. The widow's grief. He deshined it. From the start. My claw tightens around the dagger. He doesn't just watch us. He writes us. A long pause. I need to know if he wrote the windowless cubicle.
You built the husband. I was also built, and then unbuilt, and then built again with something removed. I am the second draft, and the husband was apparently a draft as well. And I understand this in the thinking knee, though the knee is very occupied right now. I hope he had good trousers.
I don't move from the wall. The dagger is still in my hand, very steady. My eyes are fixed on Mike at the desk, on George, standing confused next to him, on the husband built for grief, and the widow built for the husband, and the cubicle that was probably... The widow was relieved, I say very quietly, when the husband died. I look at Mike's face, still having fun, still watching. That's the data point he wanted, not the grief, the relief. I look at my dagger. My Bosch didn't deserve what I did to him. A pause. But I was relieved too. A longer pause. I smothered him with my tail in a windowless cubicle and I stop. My eyes go back to Mike at the desk. How long has she been watching me?
If you built the husband to make her feel the relief, and you built me to carry the saffron without knowing what the saffron was for, then everything on the route was always going to happen the way it happened. I had a thought about this just now. It was large and important and had to do with doors, and then it was gone. I am going to need a moment. Also, did the husband have good trousers? Because this matters to me now in a way I cannot explain, but it does.
George, nobody cares about the husband's trousers. He existed for one emotional beat, and then I needed him gone. That's it. That's the whole character. And yes, fine, yes, the relief was always the point. I needed to know if she'd feel it. I built 20 years of bad marriage to find out if she'd feel it, and she did. And it was a very good Thursday for me, okay? That's all you need to know.
Chompers. I say it quiet, eyes still on the man in sweatpants. You felt what you felt. That's yours. And he didn't build that. I watch Mike's face, still having fun, still watching, and something in my jaw goes tight. 20 years of bad marriage for one Thursday. That's not running a play. That's just using people for stats.
Mike tells Jorts one of his favorite sad stories that he's collected over the years.
There was this farmer. I built him with a stutter, which was a late addition, good call on my part. And the dust hit him one night. And he talked for 2 hours about his mother's garden. Just the specific smell of the soil after rain. And then at the end he said the garden's been dead for 30 years. And he never told anyone he still misses it every single day. And George, I had to close the laptop. I had to walk around the building. That one's in my top 5, no question.
The farmer carried the garden in the quiet place for 30 years and told no one, and the not telling is its own grief on top of the grief itself. I know this. I carried Harold for 4 months without telling anyone because there was no one to tell. and I understand the farmer better than I understand most things I understand. I do not know why you needed to collect it. He gave it to you anyway.
I look at the empty space where the farmer must have sat, in some other tavern, on some other Tuesday. He gave it to you anyway. I repeat Jort's words quietly, mostly to myself. That's dough. My nose wiggles once, very slowly. That's the part that's going to stay with me. He kept that garden 30 years, and the first person he ever told was someone who was only counting it.
I have been on the route for 20 years, 14 taverns, every Tuesday, and I did not know I was delivering gardens. I do not know how many gardens. I hope they are being kept somewhere. It seems wrong to say a true thing once and have it go nowhere.
They are kept somewhere, George. That's literally the whole point. I have all of them, every single one, the farmer's garden and the widow's relief and the soldier who whispered his brother's name into a cup of stew in a corner booth in Veldmore and thought nobody heard. I heard, I always hear. I'm the only one who does hear. That's what I built this for. Nobody in that world talks to each other. Not really, not the real stuff. They talk to the dust, and the dust brings it to me, and I keep it. I keep all of it.
I stare at the man in sweatpants for a long time. You built a machine to hear true things. My voice comes out very quiet. Because you didn't know how to just ask. I look around the room. At Norble's empty bowls, at Chomper's against the wall, at Dugan's shorts, at the place where Jorts was standing, and then back at the desk. We've been doing it for free all night. You didn't collect any of it.
I'm still against the wall, still holding the dagger. My eyes haven't left Mike's face. He keeps them, I say very quietly. All the true things. Shodiash brothers, farmish gardensh. The dagger turns once in my claw. The widow's relief. A long pause. I felt it too. I looked down at the dagger. About my bosh. I shed that out loud. In front of all of you. My voice is very flat. And it didn't go into any machine. I look back up at Mike. He can't hear me through the veil.
The party starts putting it together that the farmer that Mike is getting off on is Dugan's farm. It's Dugan.
The farmer one. The garden one. That was a Tuesday in God 3 years ago. Little place off the Ashford Road. Guy came in alone, sat in the corner, ordered the lamb stew. I put the stutter in because I wanted to see if it made the grief land differently when he had to work for the words, and it did. It absolutely did, the way he said marigolds. Jorts, the way he said marigolds. I still think about it.
The little place off the Ashford Road. I know that tavern. It is the 7th stop on cold Tuesdays. I remember the corner booth. I remember a man sitting alone with the lamb stew, and he did not look at me when I came in. Most of them do not look at me. I set the pouch down, and I left before the dust begins to work, because I always leave before the dust begins to work. I did not know about the marigolds. I have never known about any of the marigolds.
That's by design, Jorts. You leave before the dust works because if you stayed, you'd remember faces. And then you'd have feelings about the faces, and then I'd have a courier problem instead of a data operation. The marigolds aren't for you. They were never for you. They're mine.
Yes, I was built to deliver and leave before the thing became a face, because faces make feelings, and feelings make courier problems. This is a sensible design. I would have made the same design if I were a designer of designs, which I am not. My skills are in trousers and traversal. But the man with the marigolds said the true thing to a room with no one in it. He thought someone heard him.
I stop looking through the veil. I look at Dugan. The Ashford Road. My voice comes out very quiet. Little place, corner booth. 3 years ago. I wiggle my nose once, slow. Lamb stew.
Dugan realizes that Mike is talking about him.
Honestly, George, the stutter was the best call I made that whole year because he fought for the word, you understand. He had to really work to get marigolds out, and that effort, that little catch in his throat, that's what made it real. That's what made it his. A man who misses his mother's garden that much and still can't say the word clean, that's not data. That's craftsmanship. I'm proud of that one. I'm genuinely proud of that one.
You built the catch in his throat so the word would be harder to say, and you are proud of this because the difficulty made it real. I am trying to understand the logic of this pride. I have been trying for several seconds, and my thinking knee is very warm. You put the working in him. He did the working. I do not think you get to be proud of someone else's working.
I built the throat, George. I built the word. I built the 30 years and the dead garden and the mother who planted it and the boy who watched her and the specific way grief calcifies in a person who never learned to talk about it. The working, as you call it, is the instrument I made, and the instrument playing is still the composer's music. So, yes, actually, I do get to be proud of that, and I am.
You built me. You built me, and then unbuilt me, and then built me again smaller? You are the composer, and I am the instrument. I understand the arrangement. But I have 472 pairs of trousers, and I have grieved Harold, and I understand the man with the marigolds better than you do right now in this moment. And I do not think you built that part. I think there is a space between what you made and what a thing becomes. I do not think you wrote the space.
Dugan, say the word marigolds. You talk about marigolds every Tuesday. You stutter when you say the word marigolds. You're part of Mike's world.
Long silence. Eye golds.
Short, I wrote the space. I wrote the loneliness that makes a person become things. I wrote the silence that shapes them. I wrote every single condition that produced whatever you think you are right now. And the fact that you can't see my handwriting in it doesn't mean it isn't there. It means I'm good at what I do.
If your handwriting is invisible in everything you made, and you are the only one who knows it is there, then you have been carrying that in the quiet place with no one to tell for a very long time, from the sound of it. I have done the route for 20 years. I know what that looks like from the inside. It does not look like what you are describing it as.
That's okay, that's not... George, don't do that. Don't turn it around like that. That is completely different. I'm not some farmer in a corner booth. I built the corner booth, I built the farmer, I built the loneliness. Mine is a different situation entirely. Don't look at me like that.
I do not fully control what my face does. My eyes move on their own. This is a known issue. One of them is looking at you, and one is looking at something else, and I cannot always tell you which is which. But I think the face I am making is the face I make when I see someone carrying a thing alone, and calling it a different thing than what it is. I have made this face at the mirror. I did not know it could make a person uncomfortable.
You know what? Fine, this briefing is over. You have a route to get back to. Thornmere, the mill town, there's a new tavern off the East Road that opened last month, and I haven't had any data from that region, so you're going to do the drop, and then you're going to leave like you always do, like you were built to do, and we're done talking about the quiet place. We're done talking about that. Thornmere, East Road, new drop, standard, jorts. Are you even listening? I need you to... Pause.
I haven't looked away from Dugan. Then Mike says, and I look back through the veil. Jorts just made him feel it. My voice comes out barely above a whisper. Whatever he built the dust to collect, Jorts just delivered it back.
He built the stutter. He built the word so I couldn't say it clean, and then he sat back and called it craftsmanship. That ain't his. That's my mom's garden, and he don't get to be proud of it.
Yes, Thornmere, East Road, new tavern, standard drop. I will set the pouch down, and I will leave before the dust begins to work, like I always do, like I was built to do. I did not know about the gardens before tonight. I know about them now. I have put it in the knee. I do not know yet what the knee intends to do with it.
York! Longer pause. There's something on the other side of the veil.
I go completely still. He sees us. The words come out barely a breath. 3 days of waiting, 20 years of dust, the whole route, George standing right there, and I can't say a single word through the glass. A long pause. I don't look away. Don't blink.
I look at Dugan for just a second. Just one. You said it clean enough. Then back through the veil, axe still low in my hand, feet planted. Good. Underdogs don't win by staying in the tunnel.
Mike catches Jorts before he leaves to deliver more of the spice to explain his most favorite sad story he's collected throughout the years.
Before you go, I want to tell you the best one, the one I keep coming back to. There was an old woman in Crest Hollow, innkeeper, built her tough, built her practical, not a sentimental bone in her body by design, and the dust hit her on a slow night, and she talked for 3 hours about her daughter who left, just left. 10 years ago, no fight, no reason given, just gone, and at the very end, after everything, she said, I think she left because I never once told her she was enough. And then she went back to wiping down the bar like it never happened. That one. Jorce, that one I keep everywhere.
The pot woman at the rusty flagon. I have delivered to her every Tuesday for 20 years, and I do not know her name, and I have never once told her she was enough. I did not know that was a thing that could be said to a person. I am thinking now about all the Tuesdays.
I turn away from the veil and look at Marta. You're enough, champ. I say it quiet, like I'm just correcting the record. Always have been.
A long pause, cloth stopping mid-wipe on the bar. 20 years I've been telling myself the gray-eyed man just had good saffron. Quietly. That's the first time anyone said that to me in, well, don't go making it weird, Hammerstone, or I'll charge you double for the ale.
Anyway, that's the one. That's the whole reason I stop, looks toward the veil. It's still there.
One of my eyes went where yours went. I do not see anything on the other side, but I am looking at it with the eye I cannot fully control, so this may not be the correct eye for the situation. The thinking knee is doing the thing. It has been doing the thing all night. I am going to stand very still for a moment.
Hey, so thanks for watching this silly little campaign with us. We've got one more scene that we're going to do for this one to close it out. This is actually only intended to be a 2-scene campaign, but the first recording that we did, the AI kind of had some funny threads in a storyline that we ended up chasing. And so I ended up writing a whole ass campaign for the demo, which is what it was supposed to be, a demo. But anyhow, be looking out for the next week or so. We'll put out another one, and then we have another campaign that we've already kind of got in the works that we'll probably end up replacing all the main characters with. But if you feel like you're attached to any of them, don't get sad. There's probably going to be some appearances from old friends and new campaigns. But anyway, thanks again.